Oh, you know what? I think I was muted that whole time. I may have been muted there. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm gonna do that intro again because I think I might have been muted. So yes, the war is over. We've won the Zone of Orleans. We've agreed to peace with one of our enemies. And peace was not offered to our other enemy. And so we are finishing clearing out all the territory of theirs that we can clear out. I don't know if there's fighting over here or not. Doesn't look like it. Nope. I have not been involved in this little takeover of turquoise territory. So thank you to everyone in the Handsome Devils who did take part in doing that busy work. I am just going to share this stream out to a couple of Discords, and then we will 100% get going. One thing I never plan out is what I'm going to write. What I'm going to write in the official Rise of Kingdoms Discord chat when I put these videos up. Let's do... Recovering from war on the bountiful land we fought so hard conquer. I'm sure that very verbose way of promoting my video is going to get a whole bunch of people to tune in. But anyway, I did hold off on setting up my Barb Chaining marches until this stream because I don't know, I just wanted to visually show the process of going from war mode to Barb Chaining mode. And so the first step is we remove Double C from his position as an auxiliary skill giver. And then we take Mehmet off XY also, because I'm going to use that on Double C. I'm not going to be able to do all these auxiliary skills right now, just because it's going to take more writs than I actually have, I think. And then we also are going to move all the skills from Boudica over to Zhuge Liang. I think we'll give Double C and Zug 2 skills each. We'll definitely have enough writs for that. That's probably not a great skill. You know what? I'm just remembering that I can probably put some Barb skills on these guys. Because there's the random Barb skill I could put on here. Maybe Kiera? Probably not. Well, I could put this on Double C actually. Let's do this. HDT Nation, welcome. You're first. I'm just quickly setting up some auxiliary skills here. And we will get this thing going. It's kind of It's kind of crazy actually how much recovery you can do in this KvK once it's over, once the war's over. I mean, we have 17 days left in the real siege, and then we'll have another 3 days of extra time. So we still have 20 days left in this KvK. And one thing that's been happening is that 17, 18, as well as our Koreans, they are all hanging out in Kingsland. And they are doing a ton of barb ports, an absolute ton of barb ports. And so I've just been sitting on my alt on my phone, joining all of their barb fort rallies. Okay, and by the way, the plan I'm gonna have here, my plan is I'm gonna go Nevsky Heraclius. Right? I almost want to pop a expansion, but I won't do so. We're gonna go Nevsky Heraclius for 1 march, and then we're gonna do double C YSG. Because the double C Heraclius is just so insanely powerful that it actually, it's like overkill, right? I feel like the Nevsky is actually weaker than the double C, especially when I put my best gear on the double C. So we're just we're gonna try that out. We will try out this combination. And then Zug Richard is really good. That one has worked out just fine. It basically stays out in the field the whole time. Oh, I need to remove YSG also from auxiliary skill duty. That's right. That's right. Double C is back in the rotation as well. We can do full we can do full auxiliary on Zug. Do we want to give him this? No, that one's not good at all. What do we want to put on Zug here? Maybe this? Actually, let's just do this. Do bay bars. Alright, so Nevsky's out. You know, this is just I mean, this is sort of a big moment actually, because I have gone through about 700 days of speed ups during this KvK. The 200 or so speed ups that I have left are entirely the result of all the barb chaining I've done over the last 6 months or so. A lot of it on stream. And it is just time to recover. Akshay, welcome. King, is that you? Is that the king of INTC? And being as well prepared as I was for this KvK, oh, I've got to get Richard off auxiliary skills also. You can see how disrupted my barb chaining has been by using auxiliary skills. I had to put an absolute ton of my barb chainers on auxiliary skill duty. King, welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, do I not have enough? Okay, so the one thing I'm missing, the one thing that's not going to be amazing here, is that I don't have as much T5 as I had when I was barb chaining before the war started. So that is one thing to factor in here. But we will see how this goes. We will see how it goes. because I was very well prepared for this war. I had enough resources and I had enough speed ups. And I even had so many speed ups that I trained more T5 than I've ever had before. And so when you combine all those things, I ended up being #1 in contribution in our alliance. And I'm guessing I'm something like top 4 or 5 in the kingdom in contribution. And that's all because I was just very well prepared for this war. I had enough speed ups to heal constantly throughout the war, and I had enough RSS to heal constantly throughout the war. So I am totally motivated to do this. I'm totally motivated to put in this grind. This is what we fought for. Kind of. Although, to be quite honest, one of our members was already complaining earlier today that I guess as part of this peace deal with 1818, they're allowed to farm in Ile-de-France. I guess that's the deal. Yeah. So they're just chilling in this zone. I think it looks like it, right? They're just like barb chaining in this zone, farming gems in this zone. So in some ways, our enemy is going to get roughly the same recovery opportunities as we get. They just won't be in King's Land, and they won't have this safe zone of terrain to farm in. But regardless, this is a really good opportunity to recover. And we are going to put in the time. Niga, welcome to Officer Chat. Thank you so much for the support. Great performance in this war, Niga. And wow, really appreciate that, man. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the emoji. Enjoy the Brian emoji. Bring says coalition marker says we are not allowed to farm an ILE. Yeah, okay, Bring. Yeah, you know what? I saw some Alliance chat about it, but I didn't actually read it, so I don't know exactly what's going on here. Let me read it real quick. So yeah, I guess you're... Okay, so yeah, it looks like there was some confusion, and yeah, it looks like maybe 1818 is pulling out of Ile-de-France at this point. So yeah, we fought for the best recovery territory. We're getting we have the best recovery territory, and I've got a good amount of AP. How much AP do I have? I've got 2K, 11K, 55K. I've got 57K AP left. I would love to run out of AP during this KvK because I do so much chaining. We'll see. We'll see if I manage to do it or not. We'll also see if I can manage to keep 3 chaining marches going while also following the chat. Shocky, welcome. Shocky, are you part of that big Strife of the 8 Kingdom KvK? And Zizzo, welcome. Congratulations to us. Niga looking good with the green name for sure. Okay, Shocky, you are. Yeah. I was wondering if you knew any important dates for that. Bring says if we'd 1v1 17 or 1718 or 770, we would clean you easy. I think it'll be very close between you and 1718. But I did. Someone from your kingdom did ask me that question on my last stream, and I did say that I thought 1818 would probably win a 1v1 versus 1718. I just think you guys have the bigger army, Bring. So Shocky says 26, 27, 07 past 6 open. Okay, yeah, cool. So you don't know the time yet, Shaki? So I was kind of hoping to cover that KvK a bit. But I will write that down, and I appreciate that. You know, Bring, I think the question when it comes to 1718 versus 1818, I mean, look, obviously, okay, so what I would say is that 1718 did play better strategically than 1818. They did better as far as rallies and garrisons. I don't think that 1818's Harrow YSS mixed garrisons was the right play, and I think we took advantage of that. But 1818 just has such a strong army. You all have such a strong army in terms of troops, resources, and pilots. But the only question with that is, because regardless of what happened in this KvK, we have to assume that 1718's strategy will still be good in the next KvK. But the question is whether 1818 can recover and rebuild their army back to the size that it was in this KvK. Because you guys have a lot of farms, like you did a really good job having a lot of farms, but you also used a lot of farms and lost a lot of troops on those farms, as well as a lot of troops on your main accounts. So the only question with 1818 going forward is, can you rebuild that army? Because the army that you built for this KvK was extremely strong. You know, it was very, very big, very tough to get through. And we definitely didn't get through all of it. So I'm going to miss this chain just because... Oh, no, I got it. Okay. All right. All right, so we're doing okay with the triple chaining so far. Shaki says in deep of the 200 flag mission, so yeah, you'll be able to know the times a little bit later. And the only other thing that I could maybe do while I'm streaming is also get into some rallies on my phone, on my alt. Because that has been amazing. Like, I just got into 2. The absolutely amazing thing when you think about Barb Fort rallies on your farms and stuff is that you literally get on the level 13 barbs or level 13 Barb Forts, you get what is it? You get let me look here. You get 156 level 2 resource packs. So you essentially get 1.5 million resources for every level 13 Barb Fort you do. So if I do 100 Barb Forts a day on my alt, which is absolutely possible because, you know, my alt has a ton of AP, as I'm sure yours does as well. That is 150 million resources every single day just from doing Barb Forts. And we have 20 days left in this KvK. So imagine if I keep that pace going for all 20 days. That's 3 billion RSS on that account. And then you add maybe another 100 million RSS per day if I diligently send out my farmers on my farms every day. And all of a sudden, you're looking at recovering something like 4 to 5 billion RSS on my farms before we leave Lost Kingdom. And those 4 to 5 billion RSS will not make up for all the RSS I used in this KvK. But it'll definitely get me more than halfway there. And at the same time, I will be chaining barbs on my main account and recovering some of the many speed ups that I will need for the next tough war. So I can already see that Double C is struggling. Double C YSG is definitely struggling. Zug Richard is doing great. Nevsky is also struggling a bit. Shaki says 2172 is so close for Imp KD. Yesterday they hit it. Yeah, Shaki, we were actually Imp. We hit Imp during this KvK before we started fighting. And then we immediately lost it, you know, within maybe a couple hours. If not 1 hour of fighting. But yeah, it is recovery time. It is definitely recovery time. Maybe I should pop a boost. Maybe I should pop a capacity boost. I also need to... I need to heal my troops because we have Arc in a few hours. So yeah, you know, I called this stream a victory party, but it's like a work party. It's a work party. Shaki says, is 1093 still no imp? I'm not sure, we can check that. I feel like they've done their migration, if I'm not wrong. So you'd think they would go back to Imperium at this point. Alright, where are we? Is 1093 still no imp? Yeah, there's still no imp. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I don't know. I don't know what to, I don't know what to think about that. I mean, that seems a little OP, right? They've got like 4 alliances. Actually, they have 5. I saw a screenshot of them yesterday. Their 5th alliance was like 8 million power or something like that, or 8 billion power. So I mean, they have 5 alliances, and they're not Imperium. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's all in the game, so it's not like 1093 is doing anything wrong. I just feel like there must be a better way of, doing Imperium status and doing matchmaking status. Like, why are we only doing the top 300 governors? Why not extend it to the top 400 governors? Jan says, hey Brian, why do you prefer arch over wedge formation for open field? Jan, I actually prefer wedge for open field. I think wedge just does more damage and is better for open field. I got arch formation because I am a garrison player, and I wanted that extra normal attack damage because it also boosts your counterattack damage. So that's why I use arch, is just for garrison reasons. I will say that with the way I fight in the open field, which I do a lot of moving back and forth, I don't focus on getting a skill cycle off. If I can get a skill cycle off, that's great, but I don't focus on it. And so, in that sense, arch is kind of nice for my style in the open field, because I'm just doing all this chip damage. I'm not doing as many, I'm not casting as many active skills as some people who more so commit to a target. And you know, that extra normal attack damage just makes you like a slightly bit more tanky, you know, a slightly bit more counterattack damage, and I like being tanky. I'm pretty aggro, so I like being tanky. Everybody throw a like on the video, or on the stream. That'll help me get a little bit more exposure here. And it would be very much appreciated. I do have some armaments to open up. If people want to watch that. I'll put it to a vote later, whether you'd rather see me chaining barbs or and chatting with everybody, or opening armament chests. We can just put that to a vote. Because even though opening armaments is the most exciting thing I do during these streams, it does seem like other people, or the chat is not thrilled by the armaments. Yeah, Jan, thanks for asking. I know it is a little weird that I'm using arch formation, but yeah, that is the reason. I picked arch before Heraclius came out, and so, you know, counterattack damage was even more needed back then because I was using like a Jan or a Jedwika Jan garrison, where, you know, it was so bad against Swarm, or so mediocre against Swarm, that I just had to get some extra counterattack. If I had known Heraclius was coming out, I probably just would have gone Wedge. Though I will say, in retrospect, or I will say based on this KvK, having that extra counterattack damage is like really nice, because my garrisons just got swarmed a ton, you know? The vast majority of times that one of our flags got burnt, it was because of a swarm. Okay, I can't imagine a lot of barbs are going to spawn around here, because we've obviously wandered right into Two Sexies downtown area. All right, let's go top to bottom here. You know what I need to do is I need to increase the graphics so that I can see the AoE size. We'll go medium, and then I will jump on one of my alts real quick just to reset things. The stat that I heard from 12-inch is that he estimates that if he chains barbs for 4 hours, and I think he's talking about 4 marches, but maybe some of the time he's just chaining with 3, he estimates he gets between 12 to 15 days of speed ups for a 4-hour session of in Lost Kingdom barb chaining. So I don't think I can chain 4 hours a day, but I think maybe 3 times a week I could put in a 4-hour session. And so, I mean, let's say we get 12 in each of those sessions, that's 36 days. We get another maybe day or so of speeds from things like alliance chests. At least a day of speeds. At least a day of speeds on these. So let's say from like events and everything, we get maybe 15 days of speed ups per week. Let's say we get something like 45 days of speed ups each week from chaining. Maybe that's a little bit low, because I am going to be chaining randomly throughout the day while I'm working. I don't know. I think we can get 70 days of speed ups a week with 3 weeks left in Lost Kingdom. That would give us 210 more days of speed ups. And it would be a good start. It would be a good start. You know, it would be a good start. Because at some point there's going to be a Zenith of Power for Cav. And the last time there was a Cav Zenith of Power, I got this 30-day skin for Emerald Shade Hall. A 15% defense. And, you know, it's a great looking skin. I enjoyed having it during this very intense war. It looked really good on the front lines. It served me very well as a Cav garrison. So I would like to get enough speed ups, not only to be well prepared for our next tough war, whenever that may be, but also to, you know, push troops in the next Zenith and be prepared for another Cav skin. Although I think it was... Does anyone know the cycle? Because I think... Has there been an infantry and an archer Zenith since the last Cav one? Or is it infantry that's next? I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if infantry or Cav Zenith is next. Shaki says it's Cav or all troops. Okay. Yeah, it could be all troops, I guess. Okay, so if Cav is next, then that is just extra motivation to put in this grind that I'm doing right now. WPI Burnus, any good rallies with Lang use this KvK? Definitely. I would say Henry Zug is the best rally. I could show you a few reports. And WPI Burnus, I do want to thank you for the donation the other week. I think my mic was muted when your donation came in, but very much appreciate it. And glad we could help your friends in 556 get a nice KvK win here. Yeah, Henry Liang is really good. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of results. But I can definitely... I was actually looking at these yesterday, so I know I have some. Yeah, sorry, I have just like a ton of I have a ton of my garrison reports here because I didn't join a ton of rallies on my main. Maybe but I know I have some. Yeah, so I mean, this one's not like a great example because this was like this very intense open field fight where we didn't have a lot of reigns. But the thing about Henry Zug is like the AoE is so good. Izzy Boy, welcome. Shout out to 2721. Y'all were great allies and congratulations on the win. Sorry, I'm gonna find a good one. Okay, so here's Benny, right? Oh, this one's got swarmed. Okay, so here's like this is probably like a really good example because obviously you're seeing the enemy like swarmed Benny's rally, but it also lasted for a while, so that there was basically like a big fight underneath Benny's AoE. And so that's what's really good about this rally is that you just fight underneath the flag. It's like an inverse of what the game used to be. The game used to be if you fought under the flag, then the enemy had this huge advantage because you would take a lot of deads. But now what you do is you just have Benny rally from one alliance and you have all your open field in a different alliance. We don't take AoE, but the enemy, you know, if a single person from A18 swarms Benny's rally, then they all take AoE. Every single person fighting under the flag takes AoE up to, you know, up to a max of 5 targets, right? So this AoE will hit, you know, farm marches that are walking to the flag. It will hit actual open field fighters. And it kind of helps you win the open field fight. It actually helps you win the open field fight. Because you're just doing so much wonderful AoE to the enemy. It's like, even though this rally was swarmed, even though, you know, he did not cancel it. He did not cancel this thing correctly. It was still like a really nice trade for us, you know? Like the Sev woundeds just add up. I'm not like showing great reports here. Let me look at my alt. Let me talk to my alt. Because my alt sent me like various reports. What do we want to look at here? Maybe this? No. Alright, so yeah, here's probably some good examples, right? Let me talk to my alt real quick. Yeah, sorry I don't have better reports, WPI Burnus, but yeah, we leaned heavily on the Henry Zug. Let me look through my alt real quick and see if I can send you one. I will say that Tariq Sargon actually did quite well also. Yeah, I mean, here's one. I can show you what Addy's 1 second here. Oh, even the messages are all messed up. Like, I can't even... Here we go. This is just an example of the kind of trades that Henry Zug got. You know, not really counting AoE. Because this was more of a chill rally, but... Oh, sorry, battle report expired. Shaki says, and in Wu you could use Liang with all the troops. Yeah, I guess Wu can get... Yeah. We didn't see a ton of Wu auxiliary skills, but I guess there is some like mixed troop action going there. All right, so So looking for those reports did remind me to jump on some rallies on my alt. Sorry you all are not able to see that, but so alright, so Nevsky can do this one for sure. And then maybe he'll go home. Eduardo, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the community. Glad to have you. If you get rank 1 in Inf MG, what commander will you pick? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. You know, I was working on Leo. I was like gradually working on Leo for a while just to get him to 5511. But now I just like don't see myself. Well, I mean, I could build Leo. I could still build Leo because number one, his second skill is good for auxiliary, first of all. And second of all, if there's ever a really good infantry commander that goes well with Scipio, I suppose it's always possible, if there's like a must-build infantry commander that goes well with Scipio, then I suppose it's possible that I would want to run Guan as a second infantry march, and I could pair him with a 5511 Leo. I mean, I don't know if that's better than Attila Takeda or not. I'm not really sure. Probably isn't. But I guess I would go Leo. Just for auxiliary skills. I mean, Tariq is obviously better, but I don't see myself ever really building Tariq. But I mean, are his skills better for auxiliary? 10% march speed, 40% attack. This is a city one. Yeah, I already have Flavius maxed. If I didn't have Flavius maxed, then you could always just like gradually build Flavius because he's just good. You know, he's a really good garrison commander, so. I mean, I'm a little bit yeah, the MGE choices for me are rather limited at this moment. I can work on Saladin. Can't use Tariq for Ox. Oh, because he's too new? Algebra, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm pretty limited on MGE stuff right now, even though with my contribution, I'm going to get like a top... I'm going to have the choice of getting top 2 in pretty much any MGE. So I'm not sure what I will do, actually. What I may do is I may just do Cav and get more heads into Saladin. Because my Saladin is very close to being done. I need 120 heads on Saladin. So maybe I'll finish off Saladin with the MGE. Whereas the other option would be... The other option is to do the leadership MGE. I'm guessing I could... Well, I probably would get second in the leadership MGE because Heraclius is so desired. But I could maybe just build Montezuma and get Monty to 5511 and see how he does as a Barb Chaining master. So, decisions, you know? But that is what the off-season is for, you know? I'll also have a lot of decisions to make on my armaments that I get and my rerolls and stuff like that. Like, what am I going to transmute? And we are just in that mode, you know? We have all sorts of decisions to make as an alliance. I haven't really talked to Addy or to Idun or to Eli or to any of the leadership about, you know, what we're thinking about our alliance. Like, what do we need to do? What direction do we want to go in? I did have a recruit reach out to me recently, and he's a player who's in sort of one of these ex-Imperium kingdoms where a lot of the good players left, but I guess he was, he kind of wanted to quit the game for a while or be super casual, and so he stayed in the old kingdom, but the game kind of pulled him back. And, you know, he's like 80 million power, and he has 4.4 billion KP. And pretty respectable deads as well. I want to say he has like 24 million deads. So really nice stats, you know? Really nice stats. And I was going to take, you know, I was looking at the stats. I mean, there's a few concerns there where it's like an older account and you're kind of like, well, why did they stay in this dead kingdom? HDT, you're saying nice catch on the recruit, because I'm about to say why we might not take this person. So I mean, there was like one or two concerning things, but I was like, man, you know, 4.4 billion KP, how do you turn this person down, right? And then they did mention, the one question I didn't ask, and I'm glad they brought it up themselves, is they said, by the way, I'm free to play now, I don't spend anymore. And I honestly don't think we can accept an 80 billion power player with 4.4 billion KP who is not going to spend on Crystal Tech. I think being as close to Imperium as we are, and only having maybe 20 or so open spots in our alliance, I don't know if we can take a player like that. I don't know if they make the cut as a free-to-play. So we just have a lot of decisions to make about how strict we want to be. And then also just think, and also like thinking about what kind of players we need. Because I do think we need to focus on open field players. We need to find good open field players and add them to our roster mainly. HGT Nation says maybe he's like Mag, who can contribute well even without really good tech, but still a risk. Yeah, I mean, HGT, we obviously have a lot of free-to-play players in our alliance. We have free-to-play players who are quite productive, you know, who definitely contribute better than what their power is. But I don't know that those players would get in now, you know? I mean, if we knew who Mag was, or if we knew who Proscliff was, then they could get in. But sight unseen, just looking at someone's stats at 80, 85 million power, saying they're going to be free to play, I don't know. I don't know if that works for us. So I guess this Barb Chaining is going okay. The double C's dying a little fast. The Zug Richard is doing very well. So the Zug Richard needs to just wander far, far, far from my city, where there might be less people. And my other two marches, I guess, are going to have to stay close to home and die eventually. Thank you all for hanging out. Really appreciate it. Throw a like on the stream if you're enjoying the content. That'll help get it exposed to a few more people. But yeah, we are just we are picking up the spoils of war here, you know. I'm joining a fair number of rallies on my farm, although this current batch of rallies, I'll show you what the rally situation is. All right, so the rally situation is that Milk and these other people are rallying, and they're all, where are these all? Okay, so they're in Ile-de-France. Yeah, so it's a weird situation where, so for one thing, our alliance does not have any territory in Orleans. Just because we fought through the Korean alliance as we came into Orleans, and then 1718 as the rest of this year. So we're just like very dispersed. You know, we still have a ton of cities in the start zone, a bunch of cities in Anjou. We're starting to populate Orleans. Ile-de-France has just become quite secure because 903 is like really far from the pass now. They would have to do a fort drop that we would obviously see, and they would have to take the pass to ever invade Ile-de-France. So I would say that Ile-de-France is a quite safe zone here. But our alliance is just extremely, extremely spread out. So we're not doing a ton of Barb Fort rallies ourselves, but it's more, there's groups here in Orleans, and then there's a group over here in Ile-de-France who are doing a lot of fort rallies. And my alt is in Orleans and doing alts, or doing rallies whenever that group is actively starting them up. Ronnie, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. I don't know how I feel about this song right here. I am not sure how this song got into my playlist. Let's see, is it almost over? It's not. We'll skip it. We'll skip it. You know what I might... You know what I might actually track over these next several days? Is I'm going to track how many victories I get. Just to... And I can track it in each session, right? I can track how many barb kills I get in each session. So let's just do this as 716 mid-session 259,080. So I'm just kind of curious how many barbs I'm going to kill over the remainder of this KvK. Ronnie says 2545, registered for WU, very excited. Oh, Ronnie, good luck. Good luck in Warriors Unbound. Let's look up Ronnie's kingdom stats here. 2545. Okay, so they're an A kingdom. Pretty solid looking low to medium A kingdom with quite a bit of KP. So yeah, hopefully you get a good matchup, Ronnie. Alright, what do we want to do here? I guess we could start over here and see how far we get. Seems good. And we're just going to keep sending the Zoog further away from the city. HD Nation says, wish I killed more troops, not gonna lie. I don't need as many anymore since I'm dropping to 3 marches. HDT, what's your reason for dropping to 3 marches? Wait, what is happening right now? What is happening at this pass? I guess it's ended now. Somebody was just like targeting our pass. HDT, why are you dropping marches? You just didn't feel like getting enough meta ones? Algebra says, I hope I can get more open field marches next KvK. Need a cav march. Yeah, so HDT and Algebra are kind of going in different directions. Algebra is looking to expand, and HDT is cutting down. I'm always a proponent of expanding how many marches you run as long as you can control them all pretty well. I think more marches in the field is generally better, unless you just are kind of casual and don't farm enough resources, and if you're gonna run out of resources or speed ups sometime in the KvK, then obviously you want fewer marches, so you get better trades with the marches you do have. But in general, in the important fights we have, in the important open field fights, we ultimately just want as many marches out there as possible, because the goal is not one person's individual trades. The goal is to win that open field fight. Which is why in this KvK you often saw me running my marches down to 0. Because one, I wanted to stay out there, do some debuffs, and be part of that fight when it was at its most intense moment. And then also, I wanted to, just like have all my marches die kind of at the same time, have them quickly get back to the city, heal, send them all back out again. Because I wasn't really going for my trades, I was just going to do as much damage as possible in those important fights. And so I used a lot of speed ups to do that. And now we are going to recover those speed ups. Noah, welcome to the stream. I'm doing well today. I'm doing well. I got all my work done. Actually, I was up all night working. So now I have time to live stream. And then we've got an Ark of Osiris match in 3 hours. I will do that and then go to bed. HDT says, I basically just merged all of my good commanders into 3 marches, cost me less RSS. My original 5 marches just didn't have enough meta commanders. Yeah, I can certainly understand that, for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. For sure. Ronnie says, Brian, do you have a Discord? Ronnie, the only Discord I have right now is the Handsome Devils Discord, and you can find that linked in the description. We do have a number of public channels in that Discord that are pretty active, and so it's a pretty good Discord to hang out in, and you can certainly contact me there very easily. I'm still deciding whether I want to do my own Discord, right? A Discord for this channel. I'm leaning towards doing it, but I would obviously have to set it up and make it kind of decent. And you know, the Handsome Devils do so much for me, and Addy Navo in particular just does so much to help this channel just by being the leader that he is. I do like directing people to the Handsome Devils Discord just to get more people in there. It's like the least I can do kind of thing. But I do understand the value of having a Discord where people can contact me directly, where I can be really active, but also where all the members of our community and all the sort of regulars of the chat can hang out. So I may start a Discord. I haven't really decided yet. Let me just make sure all the settings are right here. Yeah, all right, chat's up on the live stream. That's good. All right, looks good. Looks good. Algebra says, one second. I'm trying to like read and chain at the same time, and I don't know. I'm kind of able to do it, but not really. All right, so Double C is about to go back to town. So I'm still not seeing the AoE. Oh, that's because I didn't change accounts. Okay, one second. All right, I'm gonna just jump to a farm really quick so I can just get my graphics set up correctly on my main. Algebra says I won't always use the marches. For important fights, I'll bring them all. For smaller, less important fights, I might even go down to 1 or 2, especially when my best set is used for garrison. Yeah, that makes sense, Algebra. I think it all depends on how many speed ups a person has, and you know, also what they want to do with their account. I mean, I've used so many universal speed ups in KvK that it has definitely held my account back, where I'm just now getting enough tier 5 to run full tier 5 on most of my marches. So, you know, if someone wants to get more tier 5, then certainly it makes sense to use fewer marches and not use so many universals each KvK. Or if somebody doesn't farm a lot, it makes sense to use fewer marches. Although I guess the counter argument to that is, if you are using fewer marches so that you don't have to use so many speed ups or don't have to spend so many resources, then maybe you shouldn't be using T5 in the first place. Maybe you should just be using more marches with tier 4. I think an argument could always be made that for anyone who's cutting down on marches, they might be better off just using more marches but using tier 4. I think I could probably co-sign that theory, actually. But I get why people want to use tier 5. I get why people want to use fewer marches. And certainly the gear quality has to be factored into that. there's definitely an inefficiency to using like purple gear, like my Attila Takeda, right? On my Attila Takeda, I'm using purple gear. Can't see it now, but I would normally use all purple gear, all tier 4 troops, and it's not a meta march. Is it really worthwhile for me to have that Attila Takeda out there? Or would I have been better off just using 4 marches and leaving the Attila Takeda at home? Ronnie's got a kingdom meeting soon and then arc following that. Yep. We've got an arc match coming up. I need to still write the plan for it. But a pretty small match. A bunch of people didn't sign up. And we are short on troops, so I'm guessing the competition level won't be that high, but you never actually know. You never actually know. Alright, I'm gonna kick my feet up now. Hopefully the audio is still good. I just kind of move the mic as I lean back in my chair. It's pretty close, I guess. Let's see how the levels are. Alright, looks alright. Alright, so I am gonna... Let me see if I can figure out how to throw up a poll here. Let's try something. Can I throw up a poll? How do I do a poll? How do I do a poll? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. How do I start a poll in my YouTube live chat? I'm gonna let you all vote on whether we just keep chaining and chilling, or whether I open up all my armament chests. And majority win. Majority will rule on that one. Alright, what do we do here? Okay, so YouTube is recommending third-party options. But surely there's a way to just run a poll. I'm kind of looking through. Okay, maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is what I need. Wait, that's not what I want. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to figure out how to set up a poll here. I'll mess with it later. Let's see what the chat says. Chat has no opinion about armaments versus chaining, so I think in a little while I will open up my armaments, because honestly I just want to do it. And I will figure out how to do the poll later on. Imanzari, welcome. Hopefully we win an arc tonight so I can max my Nevsky tonight. Ooh, nice. That's a good reason to win an arc. Yeah, okay, 1 for chaining. Okay, so here, vote like this, yeah. 1 for chaining, 2 for armament opening. It's a straw poll. This is not official because it's not as easy. People have to type rather than just click. So lurkers can vote in the poll, but lurkers might not participate in the chat vote. But yeah, let me know if you want to just chain and chill, or if you want me to open armaments. Pitbull, welcome to the stream. I'm not really whaling, Pitbull. I am Antigen, welcome. Orhan, welcome. Ronnie, you had a good idea to open this thing up to the chat, because now we got a bunch of lurkers chatting. But I mean, all respect to lurkers. All respect to lurkers. Open for the win. Let's get it. All right, cool. All right, thank you all. You guys are being nice to me. I actually have, I don't know where I got all these armament chests. I don't know where I got these 14 legendary chests. I genuinely have no idea. I got 4 of them from the Amulet of Protection. And maybe I purchased this thing twice? Maybe? No, it doesn't look like it. I just genuinely have no idea where I got all these legendary chests. I have no clue. I mean, was there like a KvK achievement that gave chests? I don't think so. These were not the chests from Alliance Mobilization, because I opened those. I could have sworn I opened those right before Kingsland started. So anyway, we do have a bunch of chests to open, and I guess we'll do that. Let me, I'm going to read up in the chat a little bit here. Ronnie says, or Legit says, if you have a lot of heavy skill damage, in my opinion, late skirmishes or very, very early skirmishes, the surrounded damage is a bonus. But if you're getting melted, not worth it. I'm going to run a 5-5-1-1 Boudica Mech on the field just to see how miserable it is to field archers. Yeah, that sounds like a kind of miserable march, Legit. And HDNasis says, I still need to test how strong my 5 marches are now since I've upped my spending. Iman, I will show you my armaments a bit later after I open these, and then we'll kind of look at what I could maybe transmute. And Maciej says, or Maciej says, how hard was this KvK for you on a scale of 1 to 10? That's a good question, Maciej. Look, there's like 2 ways to answer that, right? There's 2 ways to answer that. One is how difficult was the opponent? But the other part of that is how strong was our alliance, and therefore how easy or difficult was it for me to do my job as a leader. Right? So like if you could be in a somewhat easy KvK, but if you're the only leader, then it becomes very difficult because you have to do everything. So I'm going to say that this KvK all right, so if anybody watches Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews, this is where I'm like taking a few extra bites because I'm in between two scores. I'm gonna use whole numbers. I'm not gonna use decimals. I'm using whole numbers. I'm in between two whole numbers right now. I'm in between a 7 and an 8. Was this KvK a 7 or was this an 8? Yeah, I'm gonna say this was an 8. I'm gonna say this was an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. It was a 9. It was a 9 or a 10 in terms of the enemy. It was a very difficult fight. It wasn't a 10. The enemy wasn't a 10, but they were a 9. They were a 9 or a high 8. But the thing that was easier about this KvK was that our alliance was very strong. We got a bunch of new migrants. We had a bunch of garrison players who also have sort of like a leadership mentality. So like Anna and Dex both have garrisons, and they are former leaders, and so they would sometimes just take ownership of a flag, and they would sometimes have R4, and so they could just like run a flag themselves. Anna ran a cav garrison a ton, which allowed me to just fight in the open field and focus on the open field. We also had a bunch of new migrants who were good rally leaders and who were like on voice all the time and very responsive. So, you know, Mattbaugh would do rallies, that guy would do rallies, Noller would do rallies, Barney would do rallies. And so that made things very easy as well. And we had a bunch of leaders who played very well. Addy played very well in this KvK. Eli, I think, kind of stepped up as a leader. And I think Sun also had probably his best KvK. I think Sun honestly had his best KvK as a leader. So I'm actually going to change my vote and say this was a 7. Unlike Dave Portnoy, my score is not locked in. I can change my score. And so I'm going to say this was a 7 because honestly, from our alliance's perspective, things were pretty easy. I've definitely had a tougher time, you know, working to have things like run well and have us fight well. That part went easier. And in all honesty, I was less nervous during this war than I was for almost any other war. It was really weird. Like the first day when the war started, I was just getting ready to jump in the shower, right? And I was like, I'm not even nervous. Like, why am I not nervous? I was just completely relaxed about it. And I don't quite know why that was, but I usually get pretty anxious before fighting starts, and I just didn't have that same anxiousness this time. And my body kind of held up, and I didn't burn out. So yeah, I would say it's a 7, actually. Even though 1818 was, like, really tough. Let's see. Let's see, what do we have here? Legit says 1718 has a menace named Wida. I played KvK4 with them, and they perfected the art of Nevjone. Yeah, Wida definitely stood out. Wida was a very active player. Wida runs a lot of forts. Yeah, Wida was good. Definitely, that's definitely a name I recognize from 1718. Another reason this was a 7 was because we had very good allies, right? Like 1718 was a great ally, and then Red Camp was also like very easy to work with, and Red Camp like 100% did their job. Alloys, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Yo, Brian, 2359 main ally is so fat, we need to drop power. Main ally is nearly 16 billion power. Yeah, Shaki, we will check that KvK out in the future. You guys have a nice time slot. There's going to be no other KvKs going when that Strife of the 8 is kicking off. No other interesting KvKs anyway. So Matrix says separately rate them. Yeah, from a separate point of view, I would say the opponent was a 9. You could say it was an 8, but I mean 1818 was so tough. Like they were just like 1818 has to be one of the absolute top 8 kingdoms. So yeah, I would say opponent wise it was a 9. But like in terms of allies and how things went from our end, it was a 6 or a 7. It was not that hard. Algebra says 1903 decent open field, horrible rally garrison. Yeah, I agree. I think 1903 did have decent open field, which does create problems. Chat kind of popping off. Yeah, I wanted to open my armaments, but everyone keeps chatting, so it's like it's hard. And Shaki says 1903 is strong. They have good punch, but they don't like to kill troops. Yeah, that's that's about right. And that's about right. All right, so all right. HD Nation says 1903 was a 7 when they're on, but they're never on. That sounds about right. Yeah. All right, let's let me finish. Let me do these chains here. Let me do these chains here. And he's walking a ways. I'm gonna jump in any rallies my farm can join. None. And let's open up these armaments. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, so we will do the max here on the blues. What we really need are god tier cavalry armaments. My Guan has very good armaments. It's going to be hard to upgrade my Guan, but my Cav still has a lot of room. My Cav still has a lot of room to grow. And as a reminder, you can get extremely good armaments from time to time in a blue chest. So it is worth buying the blue chests. It is worth buying them. Even if most of it is just recycled material. I'm on Arch because I do it for Garrison to get good counterattack damage, and at this point, I've just kind of gone down this path, basically. I've just kind of gone down this path. There's no going back. I mean, I could start trying to open a few wedges to like shift in that direction, but I don't know if it's worth it. Because at the end of the day, what I'm still really trying to get is better arch armaments on my Yan. And having arch on my Cav rally is not bad either, right? Like, it doesn't seem like Lilith wants to make a tanky Cav rally. Cherry, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday. Happy Sunday to everybody. Whoa, okay. 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 So this is 3.75, 4.75, 5.75, 5.85. Plus a little bit of march speed here. I'm going to say this is about 6.5% of stats. I don't know if this is going to be an upgrade, but let's just check it real quick. It's a pretty good armament. I may or may not have a god tier armament on that Boudica piece. I do have a god tier piece already. Oh no, wait, that was the horn. That was the horn. Oh! This looks like it's a pretty good... So what is this? This is This is 2, 4.3, 6.3, 6.8. So I think the one I have is a little bit better. Yeah, I think this one's a little bit better, right? I mean, the march speed is nice on the Boudica, but I'm not going to value it any higher than this, what I assigned it to. So, yeah. And then I think on the Zug I have... Oh, maybe the... Oh, look at this. This is perfect. Look at this. I can put this on Zug Liang. I don't even have... I didn't even put an armament in this slot. And so I can put that new one... wherever that was. I can put this on Zug. He's not in the city, but I'll put it on later. So that's great. That works out great. That works out great. Boudica and Arch. Yeah, but I mean, like Pitbull, yeah. Boudica would obviously be better in Wedge, but all my good armaments are in Arch, so I have to put, you know, all these commanders in Arch, right? Even my Guan is all Arch. My Guan is Arch formation also. He would be better on Wedge, but how can I pass up? How can I pass up these armaments? Like this is an amazing set of armaments right here. Like I'll go through these because I think I have better than 30% basically. So here's 14.5, 16.1, 5. So 21.1% of stats before we even get to the inscriptions. 21% before we get to the inscriptions. Cohesive is another 5% of stats. That's 26.1% of stats. We'll call this 1.5% of stats, 27.5% of stats. This is hard to assess. Uplifting is an amazing inscription for garrisons, but I think this is worth maybe 2% of stats on average, maybe. So that's like 29.5. And then Phalanx works great on Guan Scipio. It really does well on Guan Scipio. So I don't know how many stats you assign to this. My Guan is definitely in the 30% plus of stats. This armament set is probably something like, you know, 32 to 33% of stats. But let's get back to opening things. On your Guan, you have almost half of the wedge formation in your all damage. Yeah. Algebra says I would value health as 1.5% in attack and 1.3% in defense. Your Guan armaments are very good. Yeah, that could very well be true, Algebra. I'm just not quick enough at math to do those sort of calcs, so I just treat them all the same. But yeah, I guess when I am qualitatively assessing these things, I should probably note that defense is better than attack and health is also better than attack. But Algebra, when I make all damage a 2.5x of stats, is that 2.5x equivalent to attack, or is it equivalent to something else? All right, let's open up these. I don't know what the deal is with these. I don't know if these are good or not, but let's just open them up. Oh, they're just completely random. Okay, so these are kind of like meh. I think it's attack, but I'm not certain. Yeah, I've always treated it as like base stats, right? All right, so let's open up all of these purples. Now we're getting into the big stuff. All right, we got one legendary, but pretty meh overall. What the heck is going on with these archer armaments? Look at this. Holy shit. 2.8, 3.5, 5.5. 7.2% of stats on this thing. 7.2% of stats on this thing. Holy smokes. And then what's this? Nothing. Yeah, that's a nice one. That's a really nice one. What's nice about this is, you know, for Archer, son, welcome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with my armaments. It's so crazy. My Archer and my infantry armaments are both better than my Cav armaments. It's pretty wild. What's kind of nice about this one, right, is that what could happen is that oh, I need to keep healing here. I need to keep healing here. Is like, so I'm very close to being able to get one of these inscription shards, right? But a lot of the ones you get are actually epic inscriptions, and so that archer armament I just got could be improved if I happen to get one of these epic inscriptions, because I assume you can only apply the epic inscriptions to an epic yeah, you can only apply it to an epic armament, and so I might pull one of these where that can actually be applied to that, and then it just gets even better. But let's go to these legendaries. Let's open these up. We'll do 5 at a time, and then we'll do 4 at the end. Iman says, I have Wedge on my Boudica, and I have 5.3% all damage, and ZL have 11.2% health, so I don't know which one is better. Yeah, that's a tough one, Iman. That's a tough one. I would say that's a tough one, Iman. I don't know. I think damage is quite good on archers, because like the whole goal with archers is to do damage. So I would probably say the all damage. Yes! Hell yes. Hell yes. Hell yes. This is a double inscription meta. This is a transmutation meta. That is my 3rd double inscription. Let's freaking go, dude. Heck yes. In before it's archers. In before it's archers. It's streamer luck, HDT. It's streamer luck. All right, so I'm actually going to get very close to being able to recycle. I'm getting very close to having 180 recycled after this, because I'm definitely recycling this, and I'm definitely recycling this, and I'm definitely recycling this, and I'm definitely recycling this. All right, here we go. Yeah, just start streaming. Just start streaming. You don't really need a lot of viewers. You just need to be streaming, and you get the luck. Although to be fair, I think I might have more double inscriptions than Chiskel does. All right, here we go. Ooh, okay, those sound like very good inscriptions. Those sound like good inscriptions right there. I like the stats. I mean, 3.3% cav health. You can't complain about that. Haste is obviously going to be March speed. I hope it's not siege March speed. Yep. So 2.5% siege March speed. Now counterer. What is counterer? D Phantom says that's great. Does anyone? Okay. Let's just look at counterer. If somebody knows, I'm not going to make you type it real fast. Oh, nice. Okay, the wielder's troop takes 3% less counterattack damage. Nice. 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 Okay. That's cool. That's a cool armament. And that's in a good slot too. That's in a rare slot. That's in the slot that's hard to get really good armaments on. That's like perfect for Attila. Yeah, I could put this on my Attila because my Attila, I make Attila my fastest march, and then it gets targeted. It pulls, it kind of swings ahead. It gets targeted the most. Okay, so how many stats are we gonna say this is? Okay, what is 3% less counterattack damage? Like, what's the equivalent in stats to 3% less counterattack damage? Because it has to be worse than normal attack. It's like less than... Maybe it's like 1% all damage, maybe? So like 2.5% of stats? Let's call it that. Let's call it 2.5% of stats. Let's call this 1.5% of stats. So that's 8.8% of stats on this thing. Excellent. I think I locked it. Yep, okay. Alright. Nice. Thank you all for freeing me up to open those armaments. Alright, let's just keep opening. Let's keep opening. We'll look at what we got later. Let's keep opening. Let's keep it going. Defensive says reroll the middle stat and maybe the first if you're feeling lucky. Yeah, I was thinking, I was wondering that if I'm gonna reroll that first one. I'm not a maniac like that, D Phantom. I would just reroll the middle stat. How about just give me something good. Give me something good here. All right. Legendary inscription. We take those. We take those. We take those. HT says you can reroll specific parts of armament stats. Yeah, you can just reroll parts. Oh, did you mess something up, HDT? You can lock certain things. Abu Red says, are you running a ton of cav rallies or this more open field? Abu, I don't run a ton of cav rallies, but I mean, I'm definitely in the mix for running cav rallies, and I definitely ran some. Wellclad is good. Wellclad is very good. So the reason this is like a good armament these days is because this is just like a very good armament to transmute. Like this is just a clean transmute right here. The defense roll is pretty low, so you can just use one transmute and just re-roll this thing, right? So that's why this is like a good armament, and that's why we are in an inscription meta at this point. We're in an inscription meta. NEKD is currently recruiting. HDT messed up his armaments. He wasted some of his transmute. Abu Red says, eating for 2381 KvK, and a couple of us from 875 are going there. Oh, waiting for 2381 KvK, and a couple of us from 875 are going there. Okay, so Abu Red dropping some news on the stream. Some migrations out of 875 are incoming. All right, here we go. Last four. I just want to see an inscription of some kind, some way, somehow. Arch formation. One time. Scrazia. All right, I can't complain. It was a great session. And that's pretty good. 5.1% of our infantry stats. I'll lock it. I will lock it. All right. What do I want to do here now? Okay, so here's I'm gonna just give you guys one. I'm just gonna go through my thinking on a little bit of these transmutations scroll stones here at the moment, right? Like I could totally use one transmutation stone on this. 100% could do that. But I could also use one on this. Although actually this is better. Wellclad is better than Valiant. So, and you see I already used a couple on Valiant. So I could totally transmute Valiant here. Tremors I don't think is really worth using a transmute on. And Devious is quite good also. So Devious is like 1.25% all damage. Or like 3.1% of stats. So I guess Wellclad is actually my best. Wellclad is the best inscription I have that can be just a full... I mean, Spiked is good also. But I'm not really sure what I want to do with Spiked here with what I have here. I mean, if I locked this and this, it would cost 5, right? So this is something this is a project that I can do, but there are a couple other things that, there's a couple other things that I could, Ronnie, good talking to you, and thanks for hanging out. Yeah, lock-in requires more crystals, exactly. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? It's like, do I use the trends... for people who didn't see it, Chisgold made a very good point in a recent video about transmutation stones, where he said, you should be using your transmutation stones on your absolute best armaments. Because the whole goal is to build some great armaments so that then you can pass down other armaments to your second and third and fourth best marches. And I just think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think it makes sense to use transmutation scrolls on this Tremors inscription, hoping to turn a unusable armament into something that's like maybe sort of good that maybe you someday use down the road on a second archer mark, right? I don't think that makes sense. I think what you want to do is you want to use the transmutation stones on your best armaments. And so I have a bunch that I could lock one skill on, right? I have 2 cohesives. I can lock this infantry defense on the Guan. I can lock the all damage on the Nevsky. I have Breaker, which is god tier armament. And I could lock 2 here. Or I could just roll some into Wellclad. And I think those are the main choices I have at the moment. This thing is already done. This thing is... I transmuted this the other day. This thing is amazing. And I could also transmute this, right? Like, this is a really good one. I could also transmute this one. But it's on my Attila right now, and I would rather prioritize the ones on my Nevsky. Because, like, my Jan is, my Jan literally has this, right? My Jan, is it possible this is, like, maybe not my best? Maybe I should have this on the Jan. It just seems so good for open field, but maybe it's, like, okay for... I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not going to use the transmutation stones now, but that's where I'm at with that. Is I've got, you know, maybe 4 or 5 different armaments that I basically want to focus my stones on over the next couple weeks. Alright, so let's get back to doing a little barb chaining here. No, but that's great, man. That's great. Another double inscription, and it's like a really good one. You know, maybe this is really good on the Jan. I mean, the haste, I guess, isn't good, but it's kind of crazy. Like, they're all, like, I have 2 really good cav doubles. I don't even know what I'm doing with this one. Because that's the slot that the cohesive is in, I believe, right? No, it's not the cohesive slot. So I could probably just put it on the Nevsky, actually. I might have just gotten a Nevsky upgrade. Abu Red's waiting for the triple inscription armament update. Yeah, I mean, I think they've made armaments like really fun, honestly. I think the transmutation scrolls are like fine. You know, they're sort of free to play friendly, I almost want to say. And yeah, I just think there's like a lot of customizing now. You really are customizing your armaments. You're picking like which direction to go with them. You're deciding how much of a risk to take because you only have 10 tries. Satora says, is there a reason why you not use Wedge? I just use Arch for garrison reasons to have a little bit more counterattack damage on my garrison. And it was just a decision I made a long time ago, and now I'm sort of stuck with Arch formation. Abu Res says 2429 also looks juicy. I'm wondering if Bo Talal is stacking that KD. 2429, I am not familiar with that one. Looks like another low A with a good amount of KP, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, y'all. Like, I love opening the armaments, and like the engagement in the chat is really good, but like I totally lose viewers when I open armaments. 120% lose viewers when I open those armaments up. So it's kind of weird. Oh, maybe it's because 12-inch went live. That could be why. Satara says, I had a lot of luck, put a defense 3.5 robust, rerolled twice, and hit 3.5 attack and 1.5% health per cav. I'm the luckiest guy, I guess. Now my March with Nevsky have 3 inceptions. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, I hit it big on a transmutation as well. Yeah, I hit it big for sure. I'm pretty sure I did just like a full reroll on this one. I had uplifting and evasive, and I just did a full reroll, and it just rolled right into this, which is absolutely amazing. But this is good. This has been a good stream. The chat's been so active that you guys have given me plenty to talk about. Because, you know, a lot of times when I do these, you know, non-fighting streams, I always get a little bit worried that it's going to be kind of, you know, boring, I guess you could say, because all I'm doing is chaining. And that the chat's not going to be active, and then I'm going to have to come up with a bunch of stuff to talk about. And I basically came up with a bunch of kind of emo stuff, and I wasn't sure how that would go over, so we've just been able to keep it very light and talk about, you know, easy subjects. not emo in like a serious way, but just more more just talking about how I was feeling when the war ended, right? And how my emotions just go down. I had this crash, you know? I wake up the next day after I wake up the next day after 9 days of fighting, and it's like all of a sudden I have nothing to do, you know? All of a sudden I am back to my real life, and my life hasn't really changed, you know? I still have the same life, which, you know, I'm fine with my life. I would say I have a good life, not a great life, but a good life. But it's a pretty quiet and arguably empty life, you know? And, war just takes up all your mental bandwidth, and you don't have to think about anything else. And then it ends, and you're back to thinking about all the stuff that that worried you and stressed you out and bummed you out before it started. So I did kind of crash like really hard the day, I guess on Saturday or Friday, I guess it was. On Friday, I crashed pretty hard after it was over. I was like, oh man, you know, we won this war. The YouTube stuff went well. The Alliance is doing great. But my life is the same, you know? My life is the same. My life in this game got better, I guess. I mean, yeah, my life in this game objectively got better by winning a big war like this. But it just does not change anything about your real life. And so that was my emotions like the first 24 hours after the war ended. But what happens is that you get back to your life, right? You know, I had a bunch of work to do. And I had a bunch of goals that I'm focused on. I want to take on more work. I want to make more money. I want to get my work done quickly so that I can make a bunch of YouTube videos. I want to start exercising again. I want to get my work done and go play poker more often. I would like to, I would like to just get out of the house more and go and have some nice meals. There's so many restaurants around Vegas that I want to try. I just want to start doing those things more, get a little more balance in my life. I actually have a ton of goals that I have, and so what I'm kind of doing is I'm just very quickly moving on from the war to trying to be productive in the next set of things I'm focusing on. Yeah, HTT, I did note that 1029 KvK is on. I'm totally fine with chaining. Like, I'm fine with chaining, and chaining is what I need to do. I just sometimes think I'm not giving you all a lot to talk about when I'm chaining. Nikki, welcome to the stream. Nikki says, what do you do when allies betray you in Kingsland after going against an agreement on who will hold Zig was based on KP and deads? Nikki, that's a tough one. Our allies betrayed us in Kingsland one time. We did not have an explicit agreement, but if holding the Zig was based on KP and deads, we would have held the Zig. And they disingenuously argued for other factors to go into who should get the Zig. They said, oh, well, we had better strategy, so that therefore we should get the Zig. Even though you did more KP, and even though you did more deads, we had better strategy, so therefore we should get the Zig. And they essentially did that because we were so weakened, they felt they could beat us in KL. And that was true. They could beat us because we did try to take the Zig from them. Nick says, "Do we expose them in RLK community?" Yeah, I think that is the right approach to take. You know, you probably just have to do a Facebook post, right? There's not a whole lot you can do unless you have a YouTuber in your kingdom. But yeah, I mean, you just have to try to get the word out there. You know, the kingdom that did it to us was 1871, and when it happened, my plan at the time was to expose them very quickly. I was going to make a bunch of videos and tell the whole story. And as many of you know, that took place 7 months ago, and I'm only halfway through telling the story of that KvK. And so, like, basically, I'm eventually going to expose them, Nikkei. But it's going to be, I'm going to expose them literally like 9 or 10 months after it happened. And so it's not really going to hurt them that much because so many things can happen in 10 months, and I just don't think it's going to change anything. And so you can't do a whole lot. I mean, you can expose them, you can let people know, but it's not going to do a whole lot, unfortunately. If they're a strong kingdom, then people will still ally with them in the future. And there will be plenty of recruits that don't hear about their treachery and migrate there anyway. And so, unfortunately, there's not a ton of disincentive for treacherous allies, but I think there is some, Nikkei. I think there is some disincentive because there are kingdoms out there who, when they hear about these sort of betrayals, and if they're able to, like, sort of, if it's believable, like if there's enough proof that it's very believable that this certain kingdom did something wrong, I think there are some kingdoms out there who will decide to never ally with that kingdom. And at the end of the day, there are some very powerful kingdoms in this game who will have a huge effect on the diplomacy and outcome of any KvK they participate in. And if the leadership of those kingdoms decides to hold everyone else to a high ethical standard, and if they make some ally choices based on what kingdoms have or have not done in the past, those kingdoms can be hurt. You know, depending on what matchup they get in, depending on the leaders of the major kingdoms in those KvKs, it is always possible that a treacherous kingdom can be hurt in the future. You know, because I do think that if we heard about a kingdom, oh, we did actually. Our opponents in Osiris League, like week 1, right? I think it was 1648, right? Wasn't it? I don't want to be wrong. Here, I can figure this out a different way, right? I'm pretty sure we fought 1648, the first week of Osiris League, right? And you know, I just did like a little bit of research on them. I found a recent Facebook post about this kingdom, and then I found a YouTube video related to that, I think. And then there was all this information about how not only did 1648 betray their allies in their latest KvK, but they had also done it in a previous KvK, right? So like it was a very, like, I'm pretty sure these people play this game unethically. Like, based on the information I have, I'm pretty sure that 1648 plays this game unethically. And so like I don't think we would ever ally with them, right? Like, I just don't think we would ever ally with them. And if it means us having an easy win in order to screw them over, I, for one, would push for us to have that easy win to screw over a known treacherous kingdom. Now, am I the final decision maker? No, I am not. Do I have a say in our in who we ally with? I have some say. I'm sort of like an advisor role. But I think our R5 has pretty similar ethical standards. And I just think that we would go out of our way not to ally with kingdoms that are treacherous. And I highly doubt we are the only kingdom who would operate that way. Nikki says, yeah, I think that's a good point on ethics. Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately something that we have to police. The community will police it. Like the high-end community that controls the outcome of the KvKs they're in. We're the only ones who can disincentivize treacherous behavior, right? Word will never spread far enough to like affect a kingdom's recruiting. And word will never spread far enough where, you know, every ally is going to blacklist, or every kingdom is going to blacklist these people. But, you know, certain kingdoms can have a nice sort of a policing effect on the community. And I think it would be good for kingdoms to take that role, because I think we're hearing more and more about betrayals lately. There was a time where there weren't a lot of betrayals, but now with stars plus autarch rewards, I feel like we've been hearing about a lot of betrayals lately. There's been some crazy stuff happening in pre-SOC. There's been a bunch of weird stuff in the 3100 era kingdoms, where a YouTuber named Young Gooby is covering a lot of drama there. Let me see if I can link to his channel, since I'm mentioning him. Yeah, if you ever want to watch some like drama and stuff from some like early game KvKs, you can check out Young Gooby. He's a pretty good reminder that there are people who still come into the game and really get into it, and they they sort of still experience, they still play the game like we kind of played the game back in the day, where it's you know, he's writing all these emails to like pump his kingdom up to win Eve of the Crusade, and they're having all this like, you know, in-depth discussion of diplomacy in these early KvKs. And you know, I mean, a lot of these kingdoms, right, that are like taking these early KvKs so intense, I think the reality is a lot of them, once they get to SOC, are going to just get wrecked, and it's going to be hard for them to survive. But it's real for them at this moment, right? Like, they really are fighting for their kingdom to be one of the best. They're fighting for their kingdom to you know, feel extremely powerful. And I love it, man. I love seeing the early game enthusiasm, because those are the future players, you know? In many cases, those are the future players of the alliances we are already a part of. And in a few cases, these are the future alliances and leaders who will be the next generation of strong alliances and strong kingdoms that help shape the face of the endgame. Nikkei says Korean drama is best soap. Yeah, I've never actually watched a K-drama, but I hear they're quite good. I haven't had Netflix in a long time, actually. I'm a little bit overdue to subscribe to Netflix for a month or two, watch all the good stuff, and then unsubscribe again. I think I'm gonna stream for another 15 minutes or so. I do need to create a strategy for our arc match in you know, an hour and 45 minutes. Otherwise, I would stay on longer, but I just need to get that done. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Plenty more chaining streams over the next couple weeks. You can bet on that. And yeah, it was a really good turnout. Really enjoyed the chat. I'm sure many of you are doing some barb chaining as you hang out. So always very glad to make other people's ROK experience and ROK grind more enjoyable with my own grind. And I'd say I did pretty good triple chaining. I'd say I kept it up pretty good. My Zoog somehow wandered back to my city, which is annoying. I guess the thing I need to track is I need to remember like which... I need to sort of like mentally note which march is quote unquote done and has no more barbs to pull in, versus which march still can do more. Oh. Too much water in that sip. Too much water. Arfin, welcome to the stream. Is Heraclius must be expert to get his skill circle area? No, Arfin. You just need to put points into his first skill. Oh, I mean, you don't even need to put points. He's got the AoE like literally at 1-1-1-1. So what people do is they'll build Heraclius to 5-5-1-1, and he is a very good chainer at that point. Yeah. So you get like 30% health on the second skill, which is nice, and a bit of counterattack damage, or and a lot of counterattack damage, excuse me. So yeah, if you can probably chain him at 5-1-1-1-1, but people do like to go 5-5-1-1, and then he's really good. Look at this clump here. Like, look at all this. Look at all this juicy, limey goodness of English soldiers ready to die. Ready to be put into the ground. Yeah, and Arfin, the other thing is that Heraclius has a very big AoE. So that's also nice for chaining. I believe he's considered to have the biggest AoE, if I'm not wrong. Maybe it's just the same size as YSG, but it's definitely bigger than Theodora. I mean, Arfin, I am a Cav player. I'm not really talking about new stuff that hasn't been released, but I So the situation I'm in with my... Here, let me make sure I don't screw this up here. So the situation I'm in is that I have not finished Zug yet. I have 0 gold heads. I have not finished Zug. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop on the Zug because there's nothing, you know, there's nothing coming up in the game for me, right? Osiris League is over. War is over. I don't need to have a strong maxed Zug, anything important. So I'm just going to save my heads at this point, anticipating that new Cav commanders will come out relatively soon. And then whenever our next war is, I'll be able to decide whether whether I want to finish Zug or whether I want to put my heads somewhere else. Yeah, I think it'll be very strong. I think it'll be very strong. Thanks again to Niga for the membership on this stream. Very much appreciated. And thank you all for hanging out in chat. Thank you for throwing a like on the video. Liking videos and chatting with me and the community is the free-to-play way of supporting my channel. And of course, this channel is free-to-play friendly, as is Rise of Kingdoms. And you can kind of tell that I'm a low spender because I have become a pretty dedicated Barb Chainer, have I not? Oh, I didn't grab this guy. So I started mid-session tracking at 259080. Now so I've already done I've killed 235 barbs just in the last hour or so, where half the time I spent opening armaments. And I've barely had to open up any AP, if I'm not wrong. I don't think I opened up a whole lot of AP. Let me open up one of these, boom. Don't walk away from me, 49. Do not walk away from me. Does this get him? It doesn't? Oh. This is a risk. This is a risk. Because he's not even going to get... Oh, maybe I'm going to get it. Okay, alright. I'm good. I'm good. Alright, Zug Richard has been fantastic today. No issues there. I think what I can do is I can... Well, here's the thing, right? I'm going to have more T5 Cav in the future, because my T5 Cav is in my hospital. So that's one thing. That's one thing. That's one thing. I think I can definitely do double C Heraclius and it can stay out forever. If I want to chain 3, I kind of need to bulk up in one way or another here. Maybe more T5 Cav is all I really need. But I mean, it basically went fine. It went fine. This chaining went fine. Oh, we missed a little action here. We missed a little swarm action here. Shout out to everybody who is on the front line building and reinforcing while I work on my own account. And let's look at this. Let's look at Nevsky. Let's look at Nevsky's armament today versus what I can put on him with that new armament that I got. This. Yeah, this is a lot better. This is way better. Holy smokes. I mean, maybe this is better on Jan. Maybe I need to put this on Jan. I guess in the off season I can obviously put this on Nevsky. This is a huge upgrade, right? 3.3% of stats. And this is like 1. Why am I blanking on this? Yeah, 1.25. This is like 4.5. And this is way more. Way more. So that's a great upgrade. But do I ever put this on Jan? Like, look at this. Look what I have on Jan. I just have like 5% of stats. I mean, this is definitely an upgrade to Jan also. Even though the haste is wasted on him. It's a great armament. Great armament. I think the real decision I have with armaments right now is... So look, I'm a Cav garrison. I'm a Cav freaking garrison, right? Oh wait, never mind. I was questioning whether this should go on a Cav. Never mind. I was just thinking that I would love for this to be on a garrison, but I can't re-roll this. I can't re-roll this. I have to just leave it on the Glon and use it on Flavius. Once armaments become a thing in Arc. Because I do garrison infantry in Arc. I don't really garrison infantry in KvK, but I do garrison infantry in Arc. What? What happened here? How did this thing not get pulled? What happened here? Oh. Not like this. Not like this. Look, the gamble that people have to understand with chaining and with being worried that you've pulled a barb too far and that it's going to leash and you won't be able to kill it. The gamble you have to understand is that for every time you go for a chain, for every time you try to get that one extra barb in your chain, you only have to be right half the time, right? If you're right, you get an extra barb. If you're wrong, you lose one barb. So you only have to be right half the time, which means you should be pretty aggressive in trying to keep your chains going longer. I mean, you haven't seen me lose a single barb today, I don't think, unless I lost one off screen. All right, so it's we've got 90 minutes before Arc match. I do need to get off and write a strategy for Arc. I appreciate everybody hanging out. It was a really good stream. We made a lot of progress in both chaining and in armaments. I keep wanting to go back and look at this this armament I just got. This thing. And this thing is just great. It's so solid. It's just such a solid armament. And I mean, the roll I got on this one the other day was amazing. I've got Breaker over here, which has a lot of potential. This Phalanx armament is amazing. I've got two cohesives that both have potential. Both of my cohesives can get a lot better. So I think I'm just in a very good place with the armaments. We just won a huge war. Our alliance is doing great. We're in the off season now, and so we can all chill. And I'm still getting into chill mode, but ultimately I'm a big fan of chill mode. That's like the part of the game I enjoy quite a bit. We've got 20 days left in Lost Kingdom to chain barbs and build the account back up. I've got a lot of action points that I can use. And I can stream a lot of it and hang out with the chat and build my channel. And for me, that's just like a really great way to grind this stuff. And I've also got some leftover Raisin Canes waiting for me, so I can eat some fried chicken while I'm writing the Arc strategy. And so I would say that it is all coming together. I hope things are coming together in your lives as well. And I will see you all on the flip side.